afternoon. Today we are reading Coral Reef Animals. Here's your table of contents. This looks like it's going to be a nonfiction book today. What is a coral reef? A coral reef is a kind of habitat. It is a group of plants and animals that live together underwater. A coral reef is made of the skeletons of animals called coral polyps. Coral polyps grow on the sea floor. When a coral polyp dies, more polyps come to live right on top of its body. In this way, the polyps build up a reef like the walls of a house. Where are coral reefs? Coral reefs are found only in certain places. They form in shallow water where there is sunlight, warm weather, and clean, salty water. Coral reefs often grow along rocky shores. Coral reefs, called barrier reefs, are just off the shore. Atolls are coral reef islands. Coral reef homes. Animals like squids live in the water around a coral reef. The reef squid swims in shallow water looking for food. Spotted scorpion fishes live on the rocks and coral on the shallow sea bottom. The spines on the back of this fish can sting. Living in the lagoon. The water between the reef and the land is the lagoon. The water is calm in lagoons. Large snails, called queen conches, often live here among the seagrass and fishes. Different kinds of sea cucumbers also live in lagoons. The donkey dung sea cucumber has tentacles. It pulls in its tentacles when it is bothered. Living on the crest. Some reefs form a hill out in the ocean. The top of the hill is called the reef crest. Elkhorn coral polyps sometimes make up most of a reef crest. Green colonial anemones often grow just behind the reef crest. They eat pieces of elkhorn coral that have been broken off by strong waves. Living on the reef front. The reef front faces the sea. Like most reef animals, the iridescent tube sponge lives on the reef front. This sponge can glow during the daytime. A parrotfish has hundreds of teeth. It uses its teeth to scrape off pieces of coral. Living inside other animals. Some coral reef animals live inside other animals. Brittle stars often live inside sponges. A sponge looks like a plant, but it's an animal. Pearlfishes live inside some sea cucumbers. They come out at night to eat. Then they wiggle back inside the cucumber past its teeth. Living among tentacles. Cleaner shrimp live among the tentacles of giant Caribbean anemones. They clean the anemone's tentacles by eating tiny animals that grow on them. Anemones live on the shells of star-eyed hermit crabs. They scare off the crab's predators and eat food left over from the crab's meals. Finding food in a coral reef. Porcupine fishes eat a lot of reef animals that live in shells. They use their strong jaws and teeth to crush the shells. The pipes of pan sponge pull water in through its sides. It eats tiny plants and animals in the water. Then it spits out the water through a big hole on top. Coral reef predators. Predators hunt other animals in the reef. Moray eels are often predators. They hide most of the time. At night, they look for sleeping fishes to eat. Stingrays catch clams, crabs, and other animals that live in the sand on the ocean floor. A stingray uses its fins to put prey in its mouth. Hiding in a coral reef. Many animals in the coral reef are hard to see because they have camouflage. This grouper fish blends into the reef. Can you see it? The trumpet fish hides by acting like a branch of coral polyp. It stretches and moves the same way the coral branches do. Coral reef babies. There are many kinds of baby animals on a coral reef. Young blacktip reef sharks have black tips on their back and side fins like adults. They first eat on their own in the shallow reef waters. Coral polyps, like the common rose coral, make babies called larvae. The larvae swim to the ocean floor. Each larva grows into an adult coral polyp. Protecting coral reef animals. Sometimes people take fishes and other animals from coral reefs. They sell them in pet stores. Touching or stepping on a coral polyps can hurt a coral reef. Do not buy coral reef animals or their shells. If you swim near a coral reef, do not touch it. Let's keep coral reefs clean and safe for the animals that live there. That is the end of the story. Here is the glossary with all the important words and what they mean. And then some other books that you could read about the same thing. And then your index, which has your important topics and what pages they were on. You can go through this story as well. It is posted in the Google Classroom assignment for you, so you can go through it just like I did. All right, so this was called Coral Reef Animals. I hope you enjoyed.